Summer Explorers Camp. We're studying the country of Panama. And for this video, we're going to talk a little bit about poetry, and then the activity for this video is that you'll write your own poem at the end of it. So before we get started doing that, we're going to talk a little bit about Panamanian poetry and the role that it played in creating its culture and just different things throughout the decades. So Panamanian culture, like many Latin American countries, is a mix of various indigenous cultures, so native groups, and also Spanish culture, because the Spanish is the country that first colonized Panama. So it also blends in bits of American, other European, Caribbean, and also African cultures into its art and literature. Specifically, Panamanian literature dates back to the mid-1500s. Its earliest works were mostly history, religious texts, and other official works, so basically things that the city created for its specific use, or that a country created for its governmental use. Panamanian authors began producing their own works in the 17th century. The first period of really distinct literature was known as the Romantic period, so it's a style known as Romanticism, and it came about after Panama gained its independence from Spain, and it was more fueled by a sense of pride in their country. So they're proud to be independent, they're proud to be their own nation, and so that really kind of bled through a lot of the literature that was being written at this time, and it led to a really kind of sweeping movement of just everything being very romantic, if you think about it that way. So much of the literature produced during this time came from amateurs rather than professionals with degrees, and so that kind of played a role in shaping the way that literature would look in the future. It was less polished, less professional looking, and it was more kind of like free-flowing and free-form, which kind of also led to that Romanticism movement. And so because of this, poetry played an important role in the shaping of these authors' identity and their desire to shape their own identity as a country separate from Spain. And so they had another movement come through once Panama gained their independence from Colombia. So it was again just kind of a huge nationalist movement, and the authors went through a modernist movement. And so what happened during the modernist movement is you saw a rise in what's called avant-garde poetry, which is another word for experimental. So you see them taking more risk, you see them taking some different freedoms and some different liberties with their writings, and their poetry is evolving to stand out amongst this new nationalist movement, so the new proud of your country movement. And so this type of poetry really kind of took hold and merged with the Spanish literary style of what's called ultraísmo. And so that formed together to create this new modernist movement. So now that we've talked a little bit about poetry, it's time for you guys to create your own poem. So you guys can just kind of do a little bit of research on your own, or just sit down and write a poem, whatever you'd like to do. But we'd love to hear those, we'd love to see those. If you guys want to post pictures in the comments or anything like that, you're more than welcome to. And we will see you guys in the next video.